Hello, first graders in Miss Anaya's reading class. Welcome to your second video lesson. Today, we're going to be reviewing some of the things that we did this week in lesson 31. We read the shared story, Ride a Bike, and we read the star story, Vera Rides a Bike. Yesterday, you guys also wrote steps about how to ride a bike. Cheech finished his writing. He helped finish yesterday, so we're going to take a look at his and just go over what Cheech wrote. He wrote, first, get on the bike. We came up with that one together. Next, hold the handles. 3, have mom hold the seat. Notice here, I see a bubble around mom. That must mean Cheech knew how to write that word. He didn't have to ask. He didn't have to stretch and spell. It's a word he just remembers. Like your name. You know how to write your name. You don't have to think about it. When we can do that, we should put a bubble around the word. That tells me what strategy you're using to write the word. I see here he has dots under his 3 sounds. Hold, hold. That shows me that when he was writing the word hold, he was stretching and counting the sounds that he hears. He wrote 3 dots on his paper and then filled in the sounds. The next word is the. I see he has a box around the word the. Whenever I see a box around a word, that tells me that the student was able to find the word and copy it. That's a great strategy to use in first grade. If you are finding words and copying it, or maybe your mom is writing it down for you, please put a box around the word so that I know that you're using that strategy. Another strategy that I noticed Cheech using is in sentence 5. But first, let's read sentence number 4. Then push the pedals. See great use of sound spelling there. And then last, have mom let go. He didn't finish this word. He wrote a space. If you're not sure what a spelling pattern is or what letters to use, go ahead and put a little space there, a little line. That's that draw a line strategy. That will tell me in my teacher brain that that is a sound you're still working on, or it will tell you in your student brain that this is a space you want to come back and fix later when you learn the appropriate sound. Good job, Cheech. Shine your halo. We're going to move on to the next part of our lesson. We're going to start with fast track phonics. We're going to start by playing Break It Down. Remember, when we do break it down, we did say it fast last week. I'm going to do different motions. I'm going to hold up the number of sounds in the word. I'm going to say the word, and then when I ask you to break it down, I'll wiggle my finger when it's time to say each sound in the correct order. Let's just do an example really quick for to break down the word cat. I'm telling you the word cat has 3 sounds. Let's break it down. K, a, t. And then at the end, let's practice by saying it fast. Cat. Very good. Let's try a few together. The first word you're going to break down is bean. Bean. Break it down and say it fast. Very good. The next word we're going to break down is whole. This one has 3 sounds. Break down the word whole. Very good. Let's break down the word bee. This word has 2 sounds. Break down the word bee and say it fast. Very good. Next up, we're going to break down a tricky word. It has 4 sounds. The word is flight. Flight. Break down the word flight and say it fast. Next word we're going to break down is Jeep. This word has 3 sounds. Let's break down the word Jeep. And fast. Very good. The last word we're going to practice breaking down today is made. Made. Break down the word made. I'm sorry, this one has 3. Break down the word made. And say it fast. Excellent job, readers. Shine your halos. The next activity we're going to do together is review sounds and words. I'm going to turn you guys towards my computer or my TV so that we can practice reading the words out loud. When you see, or the sounds, when you see the sound, practice saying it out loud. Excellent job, readers. For our next activity, what we're going to do together is practicing reading words. For this activity, I'm going to point to the sounds of the word underneath the letters. When I point to it, you say it. We're going to read it like a break it down style and then say it fast. So we'll chunk it into the individual sounds, and then I will swipe my finger underneath, and then you will say it fast. Let's practice reading words together. Let's stop here. We can use Finger Detective to cover up endings of large words. That will help us better be able to break the word into two parts so that we can then put the parts together. Let's practice the first part. Now read it fast. And let's add the end part. Let's read the end part by itself. Say it fast. So we have two parts. This part, this part. Let's say them fast. Excellent job. Next word. Now read it fast. And our last word for the day. Now read it fast. Excellent job, readers. For our next activity together, we're going to do quick erase. This is where one letter is going to change the word to make a new word each time. Paw changes to jaw, changes to jam, changes to ham, changes to hay, changes to day, changes to lay, changes to ray, changes to excellent job, readers. Give your halos a little shine. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the partner practice book in our partner practice book using that website that I shared with you guys. I apologize. This is a story you guys will get to read soon. So here's a great look at this website that I've sent out. It looks like this when you first get to it. And you scroll down and look at the headings that are up here in red. We're reading roots. There's lots of great resources here for families and parents. But there are a lot of resources available in Spanish as well. If you look down here, you'll find our partner practice booklets. Right now, we are on partner practice book 6. So you'll click book 6 and it will load for you. If it's really big, you can zoom out. And then we're going to scroll down because today we are doing page Oops, too far. We're going to do page 9 today. I'm going to zoom in so that you can see it nice and big, and I'll scroll down to the next boxes. When I point to the word, you are going to read it. I will do it in break it down, say it fast style. Excellent job, readers. Now, if we were in class, I would sign my initials right here to show that you read every single word in the box. Scrolling down to box number 2, this is a sentence. I'm going to point and give you a chance to read with break it down, say it fast style, and then I will break it down and say it fast and read it when you are done. Now that you've had a chance to read the sentence, if you have not had a chance yet to read these sentences out loud, go ahead and pause the video at this time to give yourself a chance to do that. I'm going to go ahead and read these 2 sentences now in a way that will show you what I'm looking for when we're breaking down and saying fast words or stretching them out when we read. Dan. Poked. Poked. The. B. Balloon. Balloon. With. A. In. Pin. It. Popped. When you are reading sentences, you do not have to read every single word just like that, especially if it's a word that you can look at and right away say fast. Breaking it down is a helpful skill to practice when doing our partner practice books because it teaches us what to do when we get to longer words that need more sounding out or words that are new that we've never seen before. I'm going to go ahead and turn you guys back to the screen to see the last book. These are a review of the words with the sound O, goat and a boat. I'm going to turn you here. Go ahead and take a couple minutes to practice reading those words out loud. You may pause your video at this time to do so. Welcome back, readers. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next part of our lesson for today. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is your shared story number 30, Ride a Bike. We read a story this week about Vic and his dad and the adventure that the 2 go on with teaching Vic how to ride a bike. I have some story questions that I just wanted to go over with you guys right now so that you'll know what to do when it's your turn to answer these questions for your homework assignment today. So the first discussion question I want to have about our story is, how did Dad help Vic learn how to ride a bike? How did Dad help Vic learn how to ride a bike? So the first thing we want to think about is it's asking a how question. If it's asking a how question, it wants us to explain a way that Vic's dad was being helpful or something that Vic's dad was doing in the story to be helpful. You may look back in your books if you have them with you, or if you would like to access the Success for All website, you can do that at this time to look in the book. Find the answer. How did Vic's dad help him learn how to ride a bike? And we want to practice saying our answers in complete sentences. You may pause the video at this time to find and think about and practice saying your answer out loud. Welcome back, readers. Our answer to the question was, how did Dad help Vic learn how to ride a bike? A response that would have been appropriate for this question is, he held the bike while Vic pedaled? It answers the question in a complete sentence and it adds details. That would be a level 3 Sprinkles answer. A level 2 answer for that question, or 2 points, would be he held the bike. It's a complete sentence and it answers the question, but it's not giving me that extra detail about while Vic pedaled. Adding that extra detail while Vic pedaled makes your answer go from a 2 to a 3. Now, for a score 1, I would give you 1 point if you were able to correctly answer the question. For example, a level 1 question or answer to that question would be hold the bike. It's not a complete sentence. I understand your idea and what you're saying, and I understand that you are remembering the part of the story. So that's still worth 1 point. However, we're looking for complete sentences. Parents, if you're watching this, whenever we have the option to type answers, if you could do me the biggest favor ever, please just type the exact words from your kid's answer. You are always free to prompt them. Can you use that in a complete sentence? Most times kids will be able to rephrase their answer in a complete sentence. And if they're able to rephrase it on their own, please write their complete sentence. However, if they just repeat back to you an incomplete sentence, if you could do me a favor and just write that incomplete sentence, that would be amazing. It's really important for us to have really accurate scores in order to measure their language growth and use, especially in these first grade years and with the new 3rd grade reading laws. So if you guys could just promise and do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for all you're doing at home to help us out. 2 other questions to think about. We're gonna go through 2 more. The next question about our story, Ride a Bike. Number 2, why did Dad and Vic go to the school? Why did Dad and Vic go to the school? Pause your video at this time and look in the book for your answers and practice saying your answer out loud in a complete sentence. Welcome back, readers. Question number 2, why did Dad and Vic go to the school? An answer that would have been appropriate for a level 3 or 3 points would be, the lot at school was flat. It was easier to ride on. They gave us 2 sentences in the answer. You're allowed to do that as long as they are both complete sentences. So if you mentioned that the lot at the school was flat and that it was safer and easier to ride on than the grass, and if it was a complete sentence, that would be 3 points. A 2-point answer would be if you just mentioned that they went to the school to ride on the lot. That is correct. It is the right answer, but I'm missing those details about like why they chose to go to the school to ride on the lot. A 1-point answer for that would just be if you just wrote the word ride on the lot or easy to ride. I'm looking for those complete sentences. Something that one of my classes and I joke about is reading your sentence back to yourself or having someone else read it out loud to you. Sometimes when you hear it, and if it's an incomplete sentence, it'll sound like a caveman talking. We actually had a couple instances this year where we were reading our writing out loud to ourselves, and we were giggling at how silly it can sound when it's not in a complete sentence. So that's a great way to check. Our last review question today is number 3. Did Vic learn to ride his bike? Did Vic learn to ride his bike? At this time, go ahead and pause your video, look in your book for your answer, and practice saying your answer in a complete sentence with details. Welcome back, readers. So question number 3, did Vic learn to ride his bike? An appropriate answer that would score 3 points would be, he could ride a little, but he could not stop. He will need to practice. So I was looking for the answer of he can kind of ride his bike, but he's not very good at some things like stopping, and that he's going to need to continue to practice. That's a great answer, 3 points with details. For 2 points, you could have, if you answered in a complete sentence and you said, Vic can ride his bike a little bit, that's the right answer. There's just not any details with your answer. It is a complete sentence, so that would be 2 points. A 1-point answer for this would just be if you either had the answer wrong and said, yes, he can ride, or no, he can't ride, or if you didn't answer in a complete sentence, if you just said a little bit. That would be the right answer, so you'd still get a point, but it's an incomplete sentence without details, so you'd only get the 1 point. Thank you so much for going over those review questions with me today, guys. For your homework tonight, I will put in a Google quiz form for you guys to fill out. It'll be the story questions from day 2's lesson. So be on the lookout for that post. The very last thing that we're going to do together is we're going to talk about our star words from this week. And we're going to do what normally we would do on day 1 together today. And we're going to do a little bit of writing. So looking here, I'm going to take Cheech's beautiful writing down. We'll revisit that later. We have our star words up at the top. Let's recap them for this week just to make sure we all remember, we remember what our star words are. We have helmet, pedals, coast, and brakes. Your background words for this week were bike, ride, stop, and park. When we are doing star writing, we're in level 3 now. Once we get to level 4, you have to use red words, green words, challenge words, location words, back. You have to use all these words in your writing. So I'm going to start to get you guys ready for that next step for baby wings. And we're going to start practicing using star words in our writing all the time. What we're going to do for another activity that will be in your today's homework assignment is we're going to be writing sentences using star words. I'm going to first pick a star word. We're going to just focus on those today. I'm going to pick this one, coast. I'm going to get my writing utensil here, and we are going to write a sentence using the word coast. Now, when you use these words, it's important that we are using them in a way that the sentence can kind of give us a clue as to what the word means. So my sentence for coast is going to be, when I feel tired on my bike, I like to coast and glide. When I feel tired on my bike, I like to coast and glide. I'm going to count the words in my sentence. When I get tired on my bike, I like to coast and glide. So I had a 10, 3 more, that's 13. So I'm going to write my spaces now, and I'll go back and fill them in. When I get tired on my bike, I like to coast and glide. That's going to be the end of my sentence, so I'm going to put my period there right away so I don't forget it. My first word, when. 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 I know how to spell that word. It's a capital I. Whenever you say I, when you're talking about yourself, it's a capital I by itself. I remembered it, so I'm going to put a cloud around it. When I get, get. When I get tired. That was a green word. I have the list of green words right here in my book, so I'm going to copy that word, tired. I copied a word, I used a strategy. How do I let Miss Settlemeyer know that my brain used an awesome strategy? Put a box around it if you copied it. When I get tired on, my, I. I know there's an and then there's an I like fly in the sky. On my bike, I. That reminds me of in a while, crocodile. That's I space E. I. When I get tired on my bike, I already know that word. Like. It's kind of like bike. I like to. I know this word. It's T-O. I just remembered it. I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to sound it out. Coast. That's a star word. I'm going to give you guys a list of your star words. so that you can either use that strategy of copying them, or if you know how to spell the word and want to try sounding it out, that's great. But if you are going to sound it out, either way, you're going to write your star word. I copied it from Miss Settlemeyer's list, from my list. I'm going to put a star by it. Because some of you might choose, I'm not going to copy the word. I'm going to try to break it down and sound it out. That's great, but I need to be able to find your star word. So put a star right up by your star word. Let's reread our sentence and continue writing. When I get tired on my bike, I like to coast and glide. When I get tired on my bike, I like to coast and glide. Uh-oh, I'm looking at my editing checklist up here, which I have sent to you a couple of times this week already. It says that I need to have capital letters at the beginning of my sentence. I'm not going to erase it because I want to remember that this is a mistake that I'm making, and I want some way, a little note or something for me to remember to fix it. So what we can do is we can go back and just put 3 lines, which shows I know that's supposed to be capitalized. I didn't do it the first time, but next time when I go to write a sentence, I'm going to remember that I have to use a capital letter. Getting in the habit of using this editing checklist is going to be really helpful for you guys, because I'm going to be starting to look for these things for the markings you see here, whether it's the black lines, circling your punctuation to show me that you did it. We could do that right now. And also spelling. If you're not sure about how something is spelled, that's fine. I don't expect you to be able to know how to spell every single thing in the whole world. When I look at this word, I'm not sure if that one's spelled right, so I can just put a little question mark and a circle. If I know something is wrong, then I can, instead of the question mark, put an X and then fix my spelling. That way I know if you're making edits and fixing any mistakes. That is something that we do collect scores and points on as level 3 continues. That's all the time that we have for today. Be on the lookout for your classrooms, for your Google Classroom assignments. You have 2. Your first one will be to answer those story questions that I post in a quiz form. There will be 3 of them. And then you'll have to write 1 sentence using a star word of your choice. Please do not copy my sentence. You may use the word coast, but I want to see your own ideas come from your own beautiful brains. So please, please, please come up with a sentence of your own using a star word. I'm also looking for strategies. I'm not looking for perfect spelling. So for that assignment, I ask that you take a photo of your written work, either on a piece of paper or a dry erase board, and upload it to the Google Classroom. So that's all for today. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.